This morning we are talking spring cleaning, and if you haven't gotten started yet, it's time to dive in head first. In studio this morning is Brigitte Todd from Clutter Toss, and we are talking all about getting organized this season. But what are some of the things you hear a lot from people who say, I can't get organized?
Well, a lot of people just are stressed out and just overwhelmed where to start, and they just have no motivation to get there.
For example, I'll throw myself in there. I've only lived here for about 8 months, and there are still some sections of my apartment that I just look at and I'm just like, I just walk away. So what are some things though that's happening to us if we stay cluttered?
Well, it causes a lot of emotional stress because you're looking at that clutter that's in your apartment and you're going, oh, stressful. And then also financial, because if you can't find things, or you know you've got something that you replace because you can't find the thing, or fines because you don't return the library books on time or different things, or don't pay bills on time. Right. It's just a lot of cost.
Yeah, and we have that list we'll throw up there right now. Their fines for being late. You also talk about missed appointments, and just cluttering your house makes it hard to, even if you're in the selling market, if you're about to sell your house, clutter makes a big difference.
Yeah, because when a buyer comes into the house and is cluttered, they feel like, wow, you didn't take care of that, so what else did you not take care of in the house? And it just doesn't help promote sell your house.
How did you get into being a professional organizer?
Well, I just naturally love organizing things, and I started helping out friends and stuff, and then it just grew. Oh, well, I have a friend of a friend who needs help, and it's like, well, okay, now it's starting to expand a little bit more, so I formalized it and started doing it for people.
Perfect. Okay, now Brigitte isn't going anywhere. Now we just heard of the problems that happens when you're cluttered, missed appointments, missed keys, all of these things. Next, she's going to tell us how you can solve all those issues, and there are some very, very good tips. So Brigitte will be coming up in our 6 o'clock hour, and if you have any questions about getting decluttered or getting your house organized, make sure you chime in on Facebook and let us know.
Well, spring is here, and if you've been putting off spring cleaning, now is the time to do it. We're joined by a professional organizer from Holly. She is Brigitte Todd. Good morning, Brigitte.
Good morning.
Tell me a little bit about what you do. Now, you go to people's houses?
Yep, I will go to people's houses or garages, depending what area they want to organize, and help them organize and get started.
And what happens when people say to you, oh, no, I don't want to throw that out?
Well, it depends what the item is. If it's something you haven't used, why keep it? If it's something that you can perhaps borrow from a neighbor or something, the occasional use, like a chainsaw or something, then just borrow it.
Yeah. Well, let's go through some of the things. We want to help people because a lot of people have clutter in their life, in their garage, in their kitchen, all over. Let's go through some of these guidelines. Brigitte, you're the professional. The first one says get rid of what you don't use. Now, what do you mean by that?
If you haven't used something in over a year, like that fancy hot dog maker or those cupcake muffin makers or whatever, they take up space and they take up room in your kitchen. Why keep those items?
And be honest.
Well, some people say, well, I'm going to use this. If you haven't used it in the past 6 months or a year, come on, be honest with yourself, get rid of it.
But what about be ruthless?
It's hard sometimes because sometimes there's emotional attachment, sentimental attachment to the item, and it's the memory you want to keep. It's not necessarily the item.
Yeah. Hey, you know, you haven't used it in a year, but my grandmother gave me that. I want to keep that. You say no, huh?
Well, it depends. I mean, if you have it and it's a special like teacup or something, but you know, if you have 20 different items from Grandma, pick the favorite couple items and then get rid of the rest.
All right, let's go through these. Don't buy more than you can use at the store. But you know what? It's cheaper when you buy 20 toilet papers than it is when you just buy 3.
It depends on that, but it depends on how much space you have. If you're limited in space, then you just have to compensate for what you have.
And you say you buy an item, toss an item. Now, what do you mean?
Okay, like for clothing and stuff like that. Yeah. I mean, many people have way too many clothes because basically...
Clothes.
Yes, you probably use 20% of your closet. The other 80% you don't use.
All right, Brigitte, thank you. Brigitte is from cluttertoss.com, and if you want to get in touch with her, that's where you can get in touch with her. Cluttertoss.com. Amit.